guys, so I thought I would do a voiceover for one of my own games, just break down what I'm doing and what I'm thinking. Hopefully it'll be of interest to someone. A little bit of background about this game. Big Bad, Celestia and Salmacore are grouped, and I was actually with them, but 3-4-man groups quite often get skipped these days. And when we did get a match, we were just way overpowered, so decided to go solo. Pitted against them, so I was hoping this would possibly be a good match. The damage overcharge is here, and I'm going to play a gunship, which is my preferred ship for a TDM if I'm not coming under too much pressure. Now, if I was in a strike, I'd try and go and get this damage overcharge. Try to deny it to them, but in a gunship it would be too risky unless I was to pick up an engine overcharge on the way, because by the time I get there, my engines would be dead and I'd be a sitting duck. So my objective here is to try and cover off whoever gets it. Just to apply pressure to them and limit what they can do with the damage overcharge. So I barrel roll straight out of the gate to get there quicker, and that's okay to do if you do it straight out of the gate because it'll be back before you need it. So monitoring the DO, and Big Bad gets it. Now, he's flying an Imperium, which doesn't have a great deal of engine power compared to, say, a T1 or T2 strike. So he's going to have used most of his engine power to get that damage overcharge from the spawn. And I'm using the slow debuff on my Iron Rail gun. So this is going to have quite a strong effect on him because he's got no engines as it is. Then the Iron Rail shot is going to reduce what engine power he's got left and slow him down and reduce his weapon power. So this is quite an effective strategy to limit what he can do with that damage overcharge.
Incoming!
I have to break back for safety. And now Grarik is coming at me. Now, I don't know who this is. It's not a name I know. So, based on the fact that he's flying a T1 strike, 9 out of 10 of these are heavy lasers and proton torpedoes. So, on that assumption, I keep him close, or rather try to stay close to him, because with those weapons he's not going to be able to do anything at close range, which puts the advantage in my court since I've got burst laser cannons. What actually happens is he decides fairly quick that I'm too much to bother with, and then goes after someone else, which makes it an easy kill. So first lesson there, if you go after a gunship, particularly a well-known name, although this probably isn't one of my best known names, but has certainly been around long enough, don't turn your back on it if it's someone good, because it's not going to work out. The only way you should turn your back on it is if you're running, and you need to be line of sighting as retreat. So at this point, just looking for targets, trying not to get too aggressive because it's a very even game at the moment, and I haven't got a feel at this stage for who's got the stronger team. So I'm just taking whatever targets are presented to me and getting a feel for the game.
That's a hit.
thanks for not moving. So still very even. So at this point in the game, I'm thinking I need to try and be careful, be a bit cautious and less aggressive, because this is still very even, and quite often at this point one team is a few kills ahead, which is an indication of how the match is going to go. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, we've got an even match ahead of us, and that means pick your engagements, choose your battles. Now, one thing that's developing here is that there's a few of their guys that are coming at us. Hesitant to say feeding, but it certainly starts to look that way. And I repositioned there because there's a lot of targets up here, and with this rock I wanted a better angle. So you can see I get a really good view of a lot of these guys, but this is what I'm saying, they're coming at us quite fast and quite hard, and there was just too many of them. I didn't like the exposed position, so I decided to pull back, and as I said, we're starting to edge ahead because of them feeding us fairly easy kills. Now, what actually happened there whilst I was taking care of Grarek again is that I'll just go back. At this point here, while I'm shooting at Grarek, the damage overcharge is here, right there, and again, it's a bit risky, I think, for me to go and get it. So the message pops up on the screen to say Salmacore has it. So again, this is the same approach as I did with Big Bad earlier. This is to apply pressure to him, give him something to think about, and reduce what he can do with that damage overcharge. So I missed the first firing shot. Slug hits, second slug hits. Sorry, well, that was a armor. And he actually gets away from me on 10%, 12% health. But that's limited what he can do. He was running repaired probes, so he's now got to be careful for a while on such low health till he heals up, and that's going to take most of the duration of the damage overcharge. So objective achieved there. I was quite happy with that, even though it didn't result in destroying him. So now someone else has come to look at me. I was just line of sighting this when he was approaching me. So fine, we're going to dogfight, but bring him into my area, do it on my terms rather than out in the open. And at this point here, I knew he was going to go down. The fact that he's needed to go up so wide and turn to come down on me, he's also turning the wrong way. He's not turning the fastest possible way. So my intention here is to use Distortion Field and Wingman to deal as much damage as I can, and to avoid being damaged with Distortion Field. And if he gets the lock, just to barrel out of it and straight down behind this formation of rocks here. As luck would have it, it's just how it goes sometimes. I actually get the kill, but it could have been in one of my teammates. So you can see this pattern of them feeding us. So Big Bad tried to look a missile, had to barrel, had to disto to break both his missiles. So now I've got no defensive cooldowns, and Salmacore is coming to look at me. So what I do here is strafe in very tight to the rock, which makes me very hard to kill as he comes around to get an angle on. BRC still works great like this. He could have RFL and that would work very, very well too, but it still makes me harder to hit. Also went F2 just in case he did start shooting. This gives me a blue outer ring in my shields, which is over 100% shields. So he has to bring my shields down to 100% before he can actually start damaging my shields, if that makes sense. He doesn't though. An F4 turn there, and then just trying to get our railgun shots on him. He actually takes a proton torpedo right here, and what he needs to do here is line of sight very carefully, because he should be aware that I'm still looking at him. And then he peeks out, presents me with that opportunity, so I take it. I had to guess Big Bad, since they were in a pre-made, is probably coming to help him at this point, but it was too late, and Big Bad overreaches. This is another thing to take note of. You don't often see or pay attention to how fast this happens in games, but this is quite a tanky ship he's flying. It can take a fair bit of damage, but watch how quickly it is destroyed when it comes up to potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 6 people just gone. So yeah, be careful not to be that person. Those aren't odds that are ever going to go in your favour. Right, now the damage overcharge is back up in this same spot. That's just random, that it should come up 3 times in that one place in such short period of time. Again, it's on their side, so I feel like it's quite risky to go and get it. So what I've done is I've parked myself next to this rock to allow myself to generate engine power, and if the opportunity presents me to go and get it, then I'll go and get it. But it doesn't recover from that anytime soon. I have to get defensive again.
Bet they didn't see that coming.
So I've now got, again, no defensive cooldowns and no engine power, so I need to stay very close to obstacles, line of sighting people, so they can't get angles or locks on me. So there's 2 T1 strikes, and again it's not difficult to line of sight T1 strikes when they're using heavy laser builds. Particularly in a close match like this, it won't be long before they get peeled. Tabbing through targets, Big Bad got the damage overcharge, and I was hoping to do the same thing again, apply pressure to him the same way I have, but he gets too far away, so I have to give up on that one. I might have given chase a little bit, but I just didn't have the engine power to do it, so. So just looking for targets, and Big Bad's there again. He's still got the damage overcharge, so I landed an iron on him. So he came into my sight there, and there's the iron rail shot. So that slowed him, taking out some of his weapon power, and the Dio's almost running out. So again, he decides to power dive to safety, which is a good move. But we stopped him from doing too much with the damage overcharge. In fact, yep, he didn't get anything done with it, so that was a result. This was potentially a little bit unnecessary use of Wingman. This can be one of my flaws, is to be too quick to use Wingman, and then I don't have it for when I need it in a better situation. This guy's moving pretty slow, so I didn't really need Wingman to make that shot. And then Big Bad goes out of range. Now I'm sort of frantically looking for a target before my Wingman disappears, but then it is gone. So. Right, now, so at this point the damage overcharge has come up here, and I'm on my way to get it. And what I'm doing while I'm going there is trying to regenerate some engine power. So rather than boost to it and have no engine power, try to regenerate some engine power before you pick it up. And I'm also tabbing for targets, trying to get a picture of what's around me, because these overcharges only last 45 seconds. All overcharges of any nature last 45 seconds. So quicker I can get to use it, the better. So had a fairly good idea of what was going on, picked it up.
Show them what we're made of.
There's a bomber. Now, damage overcharge on a full health bomber will only take 2 railgun shots to finish it off. Doesn't matter whether that's an ion and a slug, a plasma and a slug, 2 slugs. I choose to iron them first normally though, and that's because it stops them escaping. The slow and weapon engine drain effects have a much bigger effect on a bomber because they're very slow and immobile as it is anyway. So
That's a hit.
the iron rail first, and
Have
you can
that
see
coming
they
to
can't
you.
really move anywhere. So at this point, I'm not looking for targets. I know exactly who I'm going to shoot at, but I am wide open, which is something I need to be careful of.
We're hit.
So I just disto and move.
Incoming.
Again, retreating back to safe territory because I've used both cooldowns. This was again another case of this might have landed. It doesn't. It didn't land. Had it landed, it would have done devastating damage to that ship. I'm not going to say it wasn't worth trying because I've got the damage overcharge, but it does turn out to be getting a bit of a waste of wingman again.
That's a hit. We're hit.
So, some core at this point, right about here, I decided he hasn't fired any lasers on me. My shields are still full. I haven't taken any damage on my back shields. He's trying to lock a torpedo rather than fire lasers. So because I'm so low on engine power, what I actually do is sit there and let him lock this torpedo. If he was firing lasers at me, I wouldn't have a choice, but I'd have to move. I'd have to have barreled by now or turn left up here, but he's not firing lasers.
Hold
So
on to
I'm
something.
happy to just sit there and fire the torpedo, get a bit more engine power, and then break for cover. So the aim here, because he's in our spawn, is again to land ion shots on him to slow him down, make him less mobile, because being less mobile in our spawn will mean that he becomes an easier target for my teammates. Unfortunately, they don't hit, so that's what it is. So now at this point, the damage overcharge has come up here. Oh, sorry about that. Right, so the damage overcharge is here, and I'm aware of it, and I've got full engines, so I could make my way over there to get it now, but this bomber has come into our territory here, and the situation with bombers is quite a few of them can tick really well in these nooks and crannies in the doorways, and if one of them was to get into there, then they become very hard to kill, and they can change the flow of the game, particularly in a game that is this close. So I decided to assist my team in taking this guy out first.
You're going down.
Ion first, and 2 slugs. He wasn't going to tick, that was evident. He was being a bit over aggressive rather than having a plan of putting himself in an awkward place and nesting. But the fact that there were several of my teammates there and I'm the one that got the kill kind of validated to me
You're going down.
this was the right decision to take care of the bomber before I go and get that damage overcharge. So now, with damage overcharges, again, you don't want to be too reckless in going to get them. And this is a mistake I've made many times, so I'm beginning to learn that lesson now. So what I'm doing there is just looking around, seeing who's looking at who, if anyone's heading towards the damage overcharge, evaluating whether or not it's safe to go and get it. Once I decide it is
Didn't
safe,
see that coming.
I have no problem barrel rolling to get it, because if I was then to come under pressure once I got it, I've still got distortion field, and I can still line of sight people until my barrel roll comes back. So as I get it, slow down rather than charging straight into it. By slowing down, you regenerate some engine power, and you want to have full engines if you can when you pick up a damage overcharge, so that you can make more use of it. And as I was going in, you'll also see there I was tabbing to see who's
Bet they
around,
didn't see that coming.
so you can decide what you're going to do with it really quickly.
Now we're talking.
Now, this bomber here is the same bomber that I destroyed early on in the game, so we can be fairly sure that he's not going to move quick enough, and that's exactly what happens.
You're going down. Bye now.
So then got two other targets to deal with, another bomber. This is why you should be aware of buffs and debuffs, because in close range, this bomber might think he's got a decent chance against a gunship. And he'd have a better chance. If he got close to me and dropped all his payload straight away, that would be a wise strategy. Unfortunately, you can see a lot of his payload is already out. So this is a bad decision, and it's even worse because I've got a damage overcharge. You should never really go head on with anyone that's got a damage overcharge. It's generally always a bad idea. So one slide,
Taking damage.
burst laser killer to finish. He did, however, take out my forward shields and cause me a little bit of hull damage. So I need to be careful with this next one. So what I do here, I've still got wingman and still got the damage overcharge. So a little bit of a strafe here to acquire a line on this guy. It's still, though, to
Missiles
be
coming
fair,
right for us.
that's still an unlikely shot, so I was very fortuitous with that. But you can see, again, just how
You're going
powerful
down.
damage overcharge is if we play that sequence through.
Taking damage.
Because gunships can do things that other ships can't.
Missiles coming right for us.
So I'm not intending to actually destroy Rarik here, because my damage overcharge is running out, and I need to regenerate some shields. What I'm actually doing here is just trying to line of sight him until my barrel roll comes back, so that I can then barrel back to safety. That's my plan. Happy to land some DLC shots coming in. What actually happens is someone else takes him out, so I now don't have to barrel for safety. So I pull up next to this wall and just using that as cover, and there's nice targets here, so just a little bit of strafe to adjust my position so that I'm still relatively safe but able to make some shots. Now, the damage overcharge spawned back here. That's why I turned around again. Right as I get to here, can see it spawning. So my intention is to go back for it, but the same rules apply. Don't rush in and end up just being blown up and achieving nothing. What I do notice though at this point is that there's several targets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are all within range. If you look at their distances from me now, once I get to that damage overcharge, they're all going to be in range, and they're all focusing on one guy by the looks of it. So the normal thing I did last time of regenerate some engine power, get in there slowly and more calculated, I don't do that this time, because this is a prime perfect situation for a gunship with damage overcharge and wingman. So what I do is I get in there quickly,
Nice roll.
and I don't regenerate engine power like I normally would,
Show them what we're made of.
because the targets are all here. This is where you see how powerful this ship is with damage overcharge when the targets are all lined up nicely for you, and even more so unaware.
You're going down. Think I
That's
see
one.
body parts.
2. Salmacore gets away, don't chase it, change targets, find someone else.
We're almost
3.
there. Press the attack.
Bye now.
4. And there's the 5th. Now I make a slight mistake here. Someone's coming behind me to lock a torpedo, and it's that arrow right there. Now there's a couple of mistakes. I firstly could have tabbed to see who it was, because I don't need to have Loruna in target lock in order to shoot at them with a railgun. So I could have tabbed to see who it was. But that's not the biggest mistake. The biggest mistake I make is that I focus on trying to get this kill. I've distoed to break the lock.
Won't recover from
Get the
that
kill.
many times.
Barrel. What I was hoping was that I'd make it round this rock and line of sight,
Missiles coming right for us.
but I don't manage. And I pay for that
Hulls coming
because
apart.
not only does the torpedo hit from Big Bad, it actually crits. And so a crit proton on a gunship is a one shot. So yeah, a little bit of a mistake there. Should have let that 5th kill go and evaded. As I spawned out, we saw Crimson was very low on health, so a quarter charge railgun shot will finish this. He's currently behind the rock, but he's retroed up. So this feels like a low percentage shot, but given the scoreline, I figure it's worth a go.
Bye now.
Now, the damage overcharge has reappeared here on the bridge. Again, it's on their side, but given the scoreline, I have no intention of going to get it, look at it, or anything. Now all I'm doing is just trying to make railgun shots until the game finishes, because we've got a decent
Won't
lead,
recover from that anytime soon.
and that's the game. So there you go. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up. Yeah, I might consider doing a few more of these, or perhaps even doing a live voice commentary to some of my games. Okay, thanks very much.